أهلا بيكم. النهاردة هنغوص شوية في الفصل الأول من مصدر أدبي مهم ونشوف بداية حكاية طفل اسمه بيب. أول حاجة بنعرفها عنه هي حكاية اسمه الغريب ده. بيب هو اللي اختاره لنفسه، والأكتر إنه بيتعرف على عيلته اللي ماتت من شكل حروف أساميهم على شواهد القبور. بداية مش عادية خالص لطفل صغير.
تمام. والغريب إن الطريقة دي بتعرفنا إنه وحيد من الأول خالص، مفيش حد يحكي له عنهم غير الحجارة دي.
بالظبط. والمكان بقى، المكان بيلعب دور كبير. منطقة مستنقعات كئيبة لونها رمادي كده جنب النهر والبحر. المشهد ده لوحده بيخلي الواحد يحس بالوحدة والخوف.
وصف المكان هنا مش مجرد خلفية أبدا. التفاصيل دي، القبور والمستنقعات والضباب، بتدي إحساس بالخطر والغموض من أول لحظة. بتحس إن في حاجة هتحصل
فعلا، كأن الطبيعة نفسها بتعكس حالته هو، إحساسه بالضياع والغموض. وفجأة بقى وسط الهدوء الغريب ده بيظهر حد مرعب من بين القبور.
اللحظة دي هي نقطة التحول في الفصل كله.
وصفه دقيق ومخيف بصراحة. لابس رمادي خشن وفي رجليه قيد حديد تقيل.
قيد حديد؟ ده بيصرخ هارب.
أكيد. وحالته كانت صعبة قوي، مبلول متغطي من الطين، شكله مرهق ومجروح. وأول حاجة يعملها إنه يخض بيب ويمسكه جامد.
يا ساتر.
ويهدده بصوت أجش إنه هيقطع رقبته لو صرخ. وبعدين يسأله عن اسمه ومكانه بلهجة تخوف جدا.
الوصف ده كله القيود، الطين، التهديد، بيرسم صورة واحد يائس ومستعد يعمل أي حاجة. وده بيفسر قسوته المفاجئة دي. وفي نفس الوقت بتحس بضعف بيب وخوفه الشديد في الموقف ده.
أيوة. وبعدين بيعمل حركة غريبة قوي، بيقلبه رأسا على عقب عشان يفتش جيوبه.
إهانة وخوف في نفس الوقت الطفل.
وما يلاقيش معاه غير يدوب حتة عيش ناشفة، فالراجل بيخطفها منه وياكلها بنهم رهيب، كأنه أول مرة ياكل من سنين.
ده بيورينا قد إيه هو محتاج لأبسط أساسيات الحياة. الجوع هنا واضح جدا.
وبعد ما بيبلع اللقمة دي بتيجي طلبات محددة ومقلقة. عايز مبرد ضروري، وعايز أكل، وبيقولها ويتلز.
مبرد مفهومة لهارب عايز يتخلص من القيود، لكن كلمة ويتلز دي ليها واقع غريب شوية.
وهنا بقى الموضوع بيوصل لمستوى تاني خالص من الرعب، التهديد الصريح.
التهديد ده مش طبيعي.
بيقول لبيب إنه لو ما جابش المبرد والأكل تاني يوم الصبح بدري عند مكان اسمه البطارية القديمة، أو بس فكر يقول لحد عنه،
هيعمل إيه؟
هيرجع له ويطلع قلبه وكبده وياكلهم.
يا لطيف، ده تهديد وحشي بشكل لا يصدق. بس اللي يثير الاهتمام أكتر هنا هو التلاعب النفسي.
تقصد ايه؟
إنه مش بس بيعتمد على شكله وتهديده المباشر، لا ده بيخترع شخصية تانية عشان يزود الرعب. بيقول لبيب إن معاه شاب تاني أشرس منه بكتير ومستخبي قريب.
صحيح. وبيقول إنه بالعافية مسيطر عليه عشان ما يأذيش بيب دلوقتي.
بالظبط. دي حيلة ذكية جدا. بيستخدم خوف الطفل من المجهول عشان يضمن إنه هيسمع الكلام ومش هيفتح بقه.
حيلة شيطانية بصراحة. طب هل ده يدل على ذكاء ولا ده مكر اليأس؟
ممكن يكون الاتنين. اليأس ساعات بيخلي الواحد يفكر بطرق ملتوية عشان ينجو، وهو محتاج يضمن سكوت الطفل ده بأي شكل.
أكيد. بيب كان مرعوب ووعده إنه هيجيب كل الطلبات، وبعدها بنشوف الراجل بيمشي وهو بيعرج وبيختفي وسط المستنقعات.
والمشهد الأخير ده قوي جدا.
أيوة، لما بيب بيشوف من بعيد إن الراجل ماشي في نفس اتجاه المشنقة القديمة اللي هناك.
إنها دي عبقرية فعلا. صورة الراجل وهو متجه للمشنقة حتى لو مش قاصد بتربط مصيره بالعقاب والموت بشكل رمزي جدا. بتعمق إحساس الخطر اللي حواليه واللي جواه، كأن المشنقة دي بترمي بظلها على الفصل كله وعلى مستقبل بيب كمان.
يبقى الفصل الأول ده كان تجربة صادمة جدا لطفل بريء. لقاء مفاجئ وعنيف في مكان زي المقابر مع مجرم هارب، وده وضع أساس قوي للتوتر اللي جاي بعد كده.
تمام. بس السؤال اللي ممكن نفكر فيه بعد كل ده، يا ترى اللقاء المرعب ده في المكان ده بالذات بكل رمزيته إزاي ممكن يشكل نظرة بيب للعالم؟
سؤال مهم.
هل التجربة دي هتدفعه إنه يدور على أمال كبيرة بعيد عن الواقع ده؟ ولا هتفضل المخاوف دي تطارده وتحدد حياته بطرق هو نفسه مش متخيلها؟ ده اللي ممكن نسيبه للمستمع يفكر فيه.
Welcome to the deep dive. You've shared some really compelling material with us, and today we're diving straight into chapter 1 of this text you gave us, Question of Fate. Thankfully, we have it here in English.
Yeah, that helps.
Our mission here is really to unpack the foundational pieces, the core elements that seem to set this story in motion. It definitely feels like this initial chapter is laying the groundwork for something pretty significant. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah, this first chapter, it's really masterful in how it just sets up the basics. Our main guy, the whole feel of his world.
Right.
And then this big disruption that you just know is going to change things.
Yeah, it pulls you right in.
Exactly. Designed to do just that.
Okay, so first off, we meet our narrator, our main character. He tells us, my father's family name being Pirip and my Christian name Philip, my infant tongue could make of both names nothing longer or more explicit than Pip.
Pip.
So I called myself Pip and came to be called Pip. It's kind of funny, a kid naming himself like that. What do you make of that?
Well, it's charming, right? Yeah. But I think it's more than just cute.
Uh-huh.
This sort of self-naming, it hints at something, maybe an early sense of identity, like even as a tiny kid.
Okay.
It kind of sets the stage maybe for his whole journey later on, trying to figure out who he is, wanting something different.
And his background is pretty tough. He's an orphan.
Yeah.
Raised by his sister, Mrs. Joe Gargery. She's married to the blacksmith. And he says he never knew his parents, never even saw a picture or anything. So all he really knows about them comes from their tombstones. What does that tell you about him, that these stones are his main connection?
Well, it shows you a kid trying to make sense of loss,
right?
That need we all have to know where we come from.
Yeah.
And those tombstones, they're like a blank slate for his imagination. He has to build his own story about them because there's nothing else.
And the stories he builds are so specific. He imagines his dad as a square, stout, dark man with curly black hair.
Just from the letters.
Yeah. Just from how Philip Pirip looked on the stone. And his mom, Georgiana, he pictures her as freckled and sickly. It's so, well, innocent, like you said, but revealing, too.
It really is. It shows that gap, doesn't it? Between how a kid sees things and, reality. He's taking these tiny clues, the shape of letters, and building a whole person. It really underlines how limited his world is at this point and how much he relies on just making things up to fill the gaps.
Then there are the graves of his brothers, 5 of them, marked by these little stone lozenges.
Yeah, the 5 little brothers.
And his idea about them is, well, it's really strange. He says he religiously entertained the belief they were all born on their backs with their hands in their trousers pockets and had never taken them out.
Wow, that's quite an image.
Isn't it so specific and kind of, well, sad? What do you think is going on there?
It is sad. It's poignant. Maybe that image, the hands stuck in the pockets, maybe it suggests stillness, like they didn't get a chance to do anything. It kind of speaks to how common child mortality was back then, something Pip would have seen, probably. And this is his way, his child's way, of trying to grasp something so huge and sad, making it tangible, even if it's a bit odd.
Okay, let's talk about the setting. He calls it the marsh country, down by the river, pretty close to the sea.
The marshes.
And he says his first real memory of it is this memorable, raw afternoon towards evening. The words he uses, bleak place, dark, flat wilderness, the river like a low leaden line. It just sounds so desolate.
Oh, totally. And that setting is key. It's not just scenery.
Right.
This harsh, kind of empty landscape, it really reflects how Pip feels, isolated, vulnerable.
Yeah.
The marshes, the river, the sea nearby. It's like being on the edge of the world. Feels cold, maybe a bit dangerous, even before the scary stuff happens.
And in that setting, he has this moment where it all clicks: the churchyard, his family's graves, the marshes, the river, the sea.
And then himself.
Exactly. He realizes the small bundle of shivers growing afraid of it all and beginning to cry was Pip.
That's powerful. Seeing himself as part of this bleak picture.
It really is. It's a moment of self-awareness, but also just pure vulnerability. He's not just looking at the bleakness. He feels it. He sees how small he is in this huge, maybe uncaring place. Bundle of shivers. Perfect description.
And that's the moment when everything changes. Just as he's feeling small and scared, a terrible voice shouts out. A man just started up from among the graves.
Whoa, talk about a jump scare.
Seriously. And the first words are brutal. Hold your noise. Keep still, you little devil, or I'll cut your throat.
Just immediate terror. No preamble.
None. It completely shatters that quiet, sad moment in the graveyard.
Yeah, the suddenness, the violence of it, it cranks up the tension instantly. Big contrast to the stillness just before.
And the description of the guy.
Yeah.
Wow. A fearful man, all in coarse gray with a great iron on his leg.
The leg iron. Key detail. Totally. No hat, broken shoes, and then rag tied around his head, and he's been through it. He's soaked in water, Smothered in mud, lamed by stones, cut by flints, stung by nettles, torn by briars.
He sounds like the landscape almost, like he's part of the rough terrain.
Yeah. What does that tell us beyond just, he looks rough?
No, it screams desperation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hardship. And that iron.
Yeah.
Almost certainly an escaped prisoner.
Right.
His state suggests he's been on the run, probably for a while. But makes you wonder about, what leads someone to this state? What's his story?
Definitely. And then the physical sensations Pip notices. The man limped and shivered and glared and growled, and whose teeth chattered as he seized me by the chin. You can almost feel the cold and the fear.
Oh, yeah. That description is so sensory. The chattering teeth, he's freezing, maybe scared himself. But the glare, the growl, grabbing Kip's chin, that's pure aggression, pure control. It's meant to be deeply unsettling for Pip and for us reading it.
Their first words are quick. Pip's terrified. "Oh, don't cut my throat, sir!" And the man snapped. "Tell us your name, quick!" Pip just stammers, "Pip, sir!" Then repeats it, "Pip, Pip, sir!" Just showing absolute fear.
Yeah, the short, sharp exchange really highlights the power dynamic.
Yeah.
The man's in charge. Pip's completely terrified and just trying to obey.
Then the man tells Pip to show him where he lives. Pip points to the village. And what happens next is, well, it's bizarre. He turns Pip upside down.
Seeks him out.
Yeah. Empties his pockets, just finds a piece of bread, and then he sits Pip up on a tall tombstone.
While he eats the bread.
Ravenously. It's this weird mix, isn't it? Menace and just desperate hunger.
It is. That hunger, it almost makes him seem human for a second. It's just this basic primal need. But turning Pip upside down first, that's intimidation again. Disorienting. And putting him on the tombstone adds this creepy graveyard touch.
And then he says those things about Pip's cheeks being fat.
Ugh, yeah.
And implies he might just eat them. It's almost funny in a dark way, but utterly terrifying for Pip.
It's a psychological warfare, isn't it? Playing with him, reminding him who's dangerous, who's in control, keeping him off balance.
He asks about Pip's parents then, and Pip points out the graves again. Also Georgiana. That's my mother. Then the key question. Who does Pip live with? Pip tells him his sister, Mrs. Joe, and her husband, Joe Gargery, the blacksmith, sir.
The blacksmith.
And the man reacts, right? Blacksmith, eh? And the text says he looked down at his leg. That feels huge. What's the connection there?
That look down at his leg, his iron shackle, right after hearing blacksmith, that's got to be significant.
Yeah.
It strongly suggests, the blacksmith is someone who could potentially remove that iron. Or maybe he made it. It hints at a history, a reason he needs something specific. Maybe more than just food.
The intimidation ramps up again. He tilts Pip back over the tombstone, stares right into his eyes.
Terrifying.
Then the demands. Now looky here. You know what a file is, and you know what whittles is.
Whittles food.
Right, food and a file. And he keeps tilting Pip back. Seems like a way to keep him totally helpless.
Definitely. Emphasizes Pip's powerlessness.
And then the threat. You get me a file, and you get me whittles, you bring them both to me, or I'll have your heart and a liver out.
Just brutal. No messing around. The contrast between the simple needs file, food, and that incredibly graphic threat makes it really clear what's at stake for Pip.
Pip is, understandably, dreadfully frightened, begs to be let sit up properly.
Poor little guy.
But the man pushes on, tells him exactly where and when. Bring the file and food to the old battery early next morning.
The battery. Okay, so a specific place now. Right. Makes it more real.
And insists on absolute secrecy. If Pip fails, or tells anyone, the threat gets even worse. His heart and your liver shall be tore out, roasted, and ate.
Oh my God, he really doubles down on the horror. That need for secrecy isolates Pip completely. He can't tell anyone, can't ask for help. The danger just keeps escalating.
And then, as if that wasn't enough,
there's more.
He throws in this other character. There's a young man hid with me, he says, in comparison with which young man I am an angel.
An angel? Compared to this guy. That's saying something.
Right. And this young man has a secret way peculiar to himself of getting at a boy and at his heart and at his liver. It's just chilling, a brilliant way to make Pip even more terrified.
Oh, it's pure psychological manipulation, this unseen threat, often scarier than the one you can see.
Yeah.
Making him vague and mysterious just lets Pip's imagination run wild with fear. Is he even real? Doesn't matter to Pip at that moment.
And the first man claims he can barely hold this young man back. Truth or lie, doesn't matter. It works on Pip.
Totally. It ramps up the pressure. Now, Pip thinks there are two monsters out there, and the hidden one is worse. Makes the situation seem utterly hopeless.
So Pip, just completely terrified, agrees, promises to do it, and he's forced to swear this oath, "Say, Lord, strike you dead if you don't."
Wow. Binding him with fear of the convict and fear of God, basically.
Then the man finally lets him go, but repeats the warnings one last time.
So even though he's let go physically, he's not free at all. He's trapped by this promise and this terror.
But then there's this really weird, almost sad moment. As the man limps off into the mist, hugging himself, he mutters, "I wish I was a frog or an eel."
That's unexpected. After all that menace.
Right. It's like a sudden crack in the facade, this desperate wish to be something else, something slippery and hard to catch. It's a quick glimpse of his own misery, maybe.
Yeah, maybe his own fear, his own desire to escape his situation, just like he wants Pip to help him escape the iron. It makes him, just for a second, seem a bit more human, maybe.
Yeah.
Still terrifying, but suffering, too.
Pip watches him go, and in his fear, the man looks like he's trying to dodge hands reaching up from the graves to grab him.
What a vivid image. That really shows you Pip's state of mind, doesn't it? Blurring reality and nightmare gothic.
Totally. He sees the man climb over the church wall, head towards the river, still shivering and holding himself. And when Pip looks back, the whole landscape seems threatening. The marshes, the river are just black lines. The sky is angry red and black. And two things stand out. The beacon and a gibbet.
Oh, the gibbet. With chains.
Yeah, chains hanging to it, which had once held a pirate. And Pip connects the man to it, thinks he looks like the pirate's ghost going back to hook himself up again.
Wow. So the landscape itself reinforces the dread. The gibbet is this symbol of crime and death, and Pip immediately links the convict to it. Solidifies the fear.
And then he remembers the other guy, the horrible young man. Looks around, doesn't see anyone.
Thank goodness for that, at least.
But the fear is overwhelming. He just turns and ran home without stopping. End of chapter.
What an ending. Leaves you breathless almost. Pip's terror, the weight of what he has to do. It's intense.
So yeah, summing up. Terrifying stranger pops out of nowhere, makes these impossible demands backed by gruesome threats, all happening in this really bleak, eerie setting.
Exactly. And it leaves you, the listener, with so many questions spinning. Who is this guy really? Why the file, specifically, is the young man real?
And the biggest one, what on earth is Pip going to do? He's just a little kid.
Precisely. It sets up incredible suspense. You just know this encounter is a turning point, something that's going to shape his entire life.
Definitely feels like the start of something big and uncertain. It really makes you think about first impressions, doesn't it? How one scary event can just change a child's whole world.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, how does this terrifying start connect to those, great expectations that the story might be hinting at? What kind of expectations can possibly grow from a route like this?